Career Compass, in partnership with the National University of Singapore.
That's right. It's Career Compass in partnership with the NUS. Thank you for joining us here on CNA 938. You know where the fields of engineering and design collide? Well, that is at the National University of Singapore. A future-focused interdisciplinary learning and research program has been created by the fusing of the Faculty of Engineering and School of Design and Environment in order to meet the needs of a rapidly evolving and complex world. Before we acquaint ourselves with the curriculum and hear the value of an interdisciplinary program, we first want to get to know the man who heads up the College of Design and Engineering, CDE, over at the NUS. And he is CDE's Dean, Professor Aaron Tian, who is the Dean there. Welcome to Career Compass, Professor Tian.
Hi, Stanley. Great to be here.
Thank you for joining us today. Now, let's first get to know you better. You had studied engineering at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign in the 1990s, and now you're a professor of electrical and computer engineering at the NUS. We'd like to do a compare and contrast. How vastly different, I know it goes back quite a bit, but how vastly different was the syllabus and engineering curriculum back then when you were a student as compared to how you see it now, almost 3 decades later?
Yeah. This seems like a long time ago. So I think engineering education as well as engineering has changed dramatically, both internationally as well as local since 3 decades. I think the topics and skills needed today is a lot more diverse and definitely a lot more interesting. I would say that back in the 90s when I graduated, it was a time smack right in between, the emergence of two technologies. One, the internet that happened 10 years before that, and then the coming of the smartphone. The first iPhone came 10 years after, which is about 2007. So we're at the tail end of Industry 3.0 era.
Right. So with that change that you talk about, what do you think has brought about that change in syllabus and curriculum? Has the world grown really more complex?
Yeah, definitely. I think technology itself has been changing continuously, and the way technology has influenced the discipline has also made a major impact in that area. So, and I think the change is natural, especially in such a fast-moving world today, enhanced by technology.
So what do you observe actually to be the fundamental shifts in how engineering is taught and experienced by tertiary students at the NUS today than what it was previously?
I think the focus back then was really on the fundamentals and be able to learn the basics and hope to apply them. I think today the education is actually more focused towards interdisciplinary, and I think this reflects the world today where many different topics are now converging to create new topics. Yep.
About a decade ago, I remember there was a campaign, a pretty full-fledged campaign trying to make engineering sound sexy. But the way it's developed, I think it's already gotten there. You think?
Yeah, I think I always wonder why we have to make engineering sexy. I think the value speaks for itself. In fact, the engineering is not one particular discipline. Actually, it spans multiple topics that range from healthcare to buildings, to AI and all sorts of technology. I think it's maybe difficult for the layman to understand until they get into it. But it has a lot of appeal for folks who are looking to build. And also on the design front, for instance, architecture and industrial design, we see day to day more and more impact from the buildings we make, the products we create through novel and intelligent design.
And you would know that pretty well because you were formerly a practitioner in the industry, an illustrious career you had prior to joining the NUS in 2016. You were working quite a lot in the US. And what excited you then, Professor Tian, about returning to Singapore, joining the NUS as an academic?
Yeah, I think it's sometimes when you work overseas for too long. I actually lived in Europe as well as US for over 2 decades. And I think, one might get tired of the nomadic lifestyle and needing to return home after a long trip. I think that's how I felt. So, seeing Singapore grow from a distance, and I've grown myself, I think it's a bit like rediscovery. So, returning to Singapore and joining academia is the prospect of working with students, bring my experience into their learning experience. Was a refreshing opportunity for me.
Right, and I'm sure they've been benefiting from their valuable experience that you bring from overseas as well. Now, you are Dean of the NUS College of Design and Engineering, and it's a fusion for our listeners who aren't familiar. It's a fusion of the Faculty of Engineering as well as the School of Design and Environment. So take us back in time to what brought about this coming together, if you like, of the two schools. I mean, is the sum greater than its parts? And I assume it would be.
Yeah, excellent and difficult question. I think among the pandemic is among the triggers for us to relook at the relevance of interdisciplinary higher learning for the post-COVID world. I think our NUS president, Prof. Tanning Chai, had previously expressed similar thought by calling educators to tear down subject silos to prepare the students for a more fluid new normal. I guess this is, in the context of design and engineering, I think the convergence of traditional discipline are already underway before that even. I mean, for example, engineering and medicine, AI-enhanced technology development are already happening. So it's a natural way to do it. It's actually natural to head that way. So I think with that, consultation with the NUS president, the provost, we assemble a team of industry leaders, key educational stakeholders within NUS, even selected student leaders to rethink the learning in this new context. I think that's how it led to a new curriculum in 2021, which then lead to the formation of the college.
Now, it only started, like you say, last year. Are things still in flux? Are things still being firmed up and tweaked, especially as you get a better understanding of how things are coming together? Does it work? Does it not work? Can it be improved, for instance? I'm sure that's all WIP, work in progress.
Yeah. I think there are thousands of parts going on. We are fixing a lot of things. I mean, this is a big endeavor. In fact, we are very fortunate to have the people behind the college and, working to bring all the pieces together. I mean, on the administration side, on the teaching side, on the research side, and many other administrative functions. So we are tweaking along the way, learning. And in fact, I asked for the patience of our students and our staff to continue to work with us as we refine this new model.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just going to get better and better. Professor Aaron Tien is Dean of the College of Design and Engineering over at the National University of Singapore, speaking with us and telling us more about this new curriculum and this interdisciplinary educational experience that students at their college will get to enjoy. So, Professor, let's talk about what these students will get to study and what options do they have and how does it all come together to equip them more holistically and also provide them that broader foundation.
Yeah, I think the first, obviously, just to clarify a fine point, which is that, obviously we always say about design and engineering students, but really we're talking about, a program that spans, 14 distinct disciplines from biomedical engineering, computer engineering to architecture and industrial design. So there are three, so-called upgrades to our program for our students. So the structurally one is there's the introduction of a new common core. And then the second, basically students now get to exercise their choice better from second year up, which is they can choose to learn deep or learn broad for their discipline. And the third thing is really about ability to do multiple majors and minors in 4 years, and then be able to prepare them to upgrade themselves through lifelong learning. So those are the three main things. So in terms of common core, I think the students will get to learn soft and hard skills as well as key skills that will make them very marketable for their jobs. This includes AI, project management, and various general educational modules. And for the point number 2 is about going deep or going broad. I think the students can now design their own program to either become experts for the particular field, or move towards career pathways that will allow them to broaden in terms of leadership and management. And I think the third thing is we allow now the program so much more streamlined. We allow students to be able to do multiple majors within the 4-year time frame, so they don't have to do 5 years for that. And I think this prepares them for lifelong learning to follow.
Right. And as we established earlier, we said the curriculum changes were only introduced last year. Are there already early results or anecdotal feedback you've received from students about how they are taking to this new interdisciplinary component of the program?
I think, some of the students have expressed, that what they've experienced so far in terms of the Common Core has been fairly refreshing. They get to see topics they would otherwise not be able to experience. But in general, I think, many of the students do express, this potential questions about relevance. I think it's always natural in the beginning for students in the beginning of the program to not be able to see the big picture. But I believe over time, they're going to be able to appreciate that.
And Professor Tien, we also want to know how your college is continuing to fine-tune the curriculum moving forward and ensure that experience, the knowledge and skills that you're offering the students would be greatly beneficial to the industry, because after all, they're going to be our future, manpower, resource and professionals out in the workforce.
I think we are constantly in partnership with industry leaders. That gives us a pulse on where the industry is going. Our students are also constantly consulted in terms of their experience in the program. And so I think we take these two into consideration in refining the program. Obviously, we have all these fine people who are teaching, our professors. They are top in the field, and they also provide, major insights to what works and what doesn't. I think all these three factors work together. I think it's a learning experience as we move forward. We hope that this partnership continues, and we hope over time to, get to a much more refined offering.
Very exciting prospects indeed, looking at CDE or College of Design and Engineering. Anything you'd like to say to our listeners, some of whom may be looking at what step to take next, what college to enroll in, what university? What would you say to them to consider CDE as one of those options?
Yeah, I think I would say that CDE offers a very broad selection of possibilities. I think if you are looking for a professional degree and you want to do something that related to technology, to design, to architecture, come experience us. I think we'll give you a very unique educational experience. We'll prepare you for the future ahead, no matter how fluid the new normal may be.
Well put. We have been speaking on Career Compass with Professor Aaron Tien, who is Dean of the College of Design and Engineering, or CDE, at the National University of Singapore. And to find out more about the NUS Open House 2022, visit their website, nus.edu.sg/openhouse. Professor Tien, thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Stanley. Thank you.
Career Compass, in partnership with the National University of Singapore.